Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided I would make a mini series about the games I've played in the past SPL. The videos will always be divided in two parts. The first part will be about the team, how I built it and why I decided to use X or Y stuff. And the second part will be about the game itself, where I'll comment my play and some of the things that happened. Just so you guys know, I'm not a native English speaker, so sorry in advance for the mistakes I might commit. With that being said, enjoy. So this is the team I brought against Jayde in my first battle of this past SPL. I decided I would use Ryolu for two reasons. The first one is because I wanted to do something a bit funky, and the second one is because I thought it had a good matchup, in general, against the kind of team I like to use, as in the bulky scents that are very popular in black and white in general, which usually revolves around Tyranitar, Skarmory, Among Us, and then other top tiers like Garchomp or Keldeo, Hydreigon. So, Ryolu, pretty known, as in usually know what you're in for when you see it at team preview. The idea is to use Roar, and then with Prankster and Copycat, you have a priority Roar. So you can just keep racking up damage from passive, from entry hazards, and you do that until they have one Pokemon left, and you win the game. Regarding Ryolu itself, I had to use the Leftovers instead of Eviolite because of Sand. If Ryolu happens to be in Sand, you need the recovery from Leftovers, otherwise you just die. The problem is that without Eviolite, Ryolu has a really poor bulk, so it can be pretty hard to get the initial roar. Thankfully, you can get it pretty easily against Tyranitar, but usually it's only against Tyranitar. Then I added Skarmory because it provides both forms of hazards to the team, and when I tried to build the team around Ryolu, I noticed that I had to use both hazards on one Pokemon, otherwise it doesn't work. Ryolu already doesn't bring much to the team, so you really need that roll compression. The set itself is pretty standard, it's just Suicide leads Skarmory. I then added Jellicent because it's a ghost type and you can spin block with it to keep the hazards up against pretty much every spinner in the tier, except offensive Stormy, but that's why I have Weavile and I'll talk about it in a second. Regarding the moveset, it's pretty standard too, just Wall Breaker Jellicent can be useful in different situations as well. I decided to go for max defense because I wanted to be a bit more prepared in case I faced the X schedule. I then added Weavile because it can pursue Starmie, so like you can keep the hazards up against all kinds of spinner with the combination of Jellicent and Weavile. Just in case you face like offensive Starmie, you'll have to take life orb damage from the Thunder it'll have to use against Jellicent, and then you pursue it, it's dead, and you keep both hazards up. Not to mention that I think Weavile is an underrated threat in general, because Ice is really good offensively, and with hazards up and its natural speed, you can be threatening to a lot of stuff. And then I did Heatran for two reasons. The first one is it's a steel type, so I can switch on dragon moves if it's needed, and especially with an Herballoon you are immune to ground coverage. And the second reason why I added Heatran is because of the interaction with Roar and Ryolu. And the thing is, you can Roar with something else than Ryolu, and if no attack is made between the Roar and the Copycat will copy Roar. So, to give you a concrete example, if each one use Roar and bring in something like Among Us or Skarmory, the opponent will likely switch out. And you can double to Ryolu in this case, and use Copycat, and you will get the Roar from each one. So that's why I wanted to add something with Roar in the team. In the last slot, I put Alakazam, because it's just an all-around good Pokemon, and I wanted to make the team foolproof in the sense that in the case I wouldn't get Ryolu to go to work, I could sort of establish win conditions between Jayde and Alakazam. I put Anchor in the last slot because I wanted the insurance against setuppers and Reuniclus in particular. Alright, so let's get into the game now. Just for the record, when I had to play, I remember my team was down 6-2 or 6-3. Anyway, let's focus on the team preview a little bit first. The first thing I noticed was the volume. For two reasons. The first is that he has Mach Punch, which will out-prioritize the Railu, so Railu was kind of useless in this matchup. It was a bit of a letdown. The second thing is Railu is a big threat in general. I don't have good fighting switching. My fight switching is Jayde and it just dies to Bullet Seed. So Railu was a big issue. Excadrill can spin the hazards, but I have Jayde, so it's alright. Anyway, first turn, he did Breloom, I did Skarmory. Took a lot of time to decide on the lead, I remember. I just wanted to get the hazards up, I didn't like the matchup with anything else. Skarmory has a sturdy anyway, so it felt pretty safe. And I remember I took a lot of time on the first turn for one main reason. I was really scared of Focus Sash Breloom, which makes kind of sense in this bulky offense. The thing is, Focus Sash Breloom really puts like a lot of danger on me in the first turn, because I either get hazard and I don't break the sash, or I break the sash and I don't get hazard. Not to mention, it could be timid, could be jolly, it's a tie. So if he gets the tie and put me to sleep, I don't get hazard, I don't weaken the volume, I don't break its sash, then it's all night I wish. So I decided to go for it. I just go for Stealth Rock, I want the hazard, and he low sweep. He has Life Orb, which is a really big relief at this point. And because of the speed drop, Skarmory is now slower for sure. I decided to sack each one instead. It's not useful. He has Keldeo to abuse it, he has Politoed, Latios in Rain. Each one wasn't gonna do anything, so I just sack each one. And Skarmory, I feel like, could have been useful later against Ferrothorn, or if he gets Rocks up, I can activate the Gustap with the Stealth Rock damage. So I got Alakazam here. I'll just mention why. The thing is, I have Railu won't work, and I need to be as aggressive as possible with Alakazam and Weavile, because I need to break his team apart so I can establish a win condition between Weavile, Alakazam, and Jayde. So I got Alakazam here, and the thing is, to keep the sash intact, I need to kind of predict really well, because like if he goes Ferrothorn, let's say he goes Ferrothorn on Psychic, then he can Gyro Ball, he can take the Focus Blast and he'll break my sash, and then Breloom just is even more of a problem, and other things too, like even Polito to some extent. So I realized that the thing he would value the least, not the thing he would value the least, but the move he would expect in this position was Focus Blast or Psychic, because Psychic was safe against Breloom. So the counter play is to go Ferrothorn or Excadrill. But Focus Blast is good against Breloom too, so it would be a nice middle ground. And Latios would work against both Psychic and Focus Blast. So I figured he would go Latios, because Psychic Focus Blast plus Shadow Ball won't kill Latios, and he can break the sash. And that's why I decided to Shadow Ball, so he can't break the sash. The special drop didn't matter, although it made it easier for me to use Psychic, because then it killed and I didn't have to Shadow Ball again. So Essence Politoed here. What do I do here? It was kind of a tough decision, but I felt like I would stay in and Psychic for two reasons. The first one is that I can identify the Politoed item, and by proxy I can identify the Keldeo item, because at this point, if the Politoed isn't scarfed, it's pretty sure that the Keldeo is scarfed. It's scarfed in this case. So I stay in, and the other reason too is that if I weaken the polytoad, I have an easier time winning with Weavile afterward, because he can't switch in a polytoad anymore. So I Psychic, here I drop him, he breaks the sash, but turns out Psychic is a 2 KO after rocks. So that's good. I kill the polytoad too here. Which means his team becomes a lot weaker to Jason now. Like, yes, Breloom, that's the big threat, and it will still force out Jason. But Ferrothorn is not a good answer, because between Taunt and Will-O-Wisp, it kind of loses in the long run. Keldeo won't do jack, and Excadrill is pretty bad too, especially on the rain. So he needs Breloom. Breloom is his win condition, is kind of his win condition. So I go Jellicent here, and then I stack Riolu. To be fair, going into Jellicent was kind of a bad idea now that I think about it. Like, I could have just sacked Riolu instantly and not risk a Bullet Seed, otherwise I would have lost. So here, pretty brick turn. I go Weavile because with Arshard I force out the Breloom, and it's both Weavile and Breloom are both win condition, in the fact that if I lose Weavile, I lose Breloom, and if he loses Breloom, it kind of loses to Jellicent. Anyway, pretty big turn. If I Arshard and he stays in, I kill it, so I figured he would switch out, because he can't afford it. Like, he can sack something and come back later with Breloom, and then he has another 50-50 later in a Breloom Weavile situation. So I figured he would switch out the first time because he could afford it, and I pursued it to punish it, and to make sure the next time I will definitely kill it with Pursuit if it happens again. And like, I didn't know the exact damage, but it could also die by itself to Life Orb, and then between Life Orb and Rock, so I could go with Jason. So I go Jason here. I can't afford to stay in. I go Keldeo, sorry. Goes Keldeo. I go Jason, and Jayde being good, he double switch. Really good move on his part. It means that he gets to pick a kill. I lose a sack for later. Like, it's especially useful, and you'll see why later in the game, but I have to sack something. And of course at this point Skarmory is this useful Pokemon. So I sack it. It takes Life Orb damage again, and he's at 10%. So I go with Weavile, and once again we are in the situation from earlier, except this time Pursuit will kill if it switch out. And you might think, well, then you can Pursuit safely, because even if you Mach Punches, I lose Weavile, but then he would die from Life Orb. The thing is, with the way Pokemon Showdown shows information, it wouldn't be the first time Life Orb does like 9, because the percentages have been rounded up. So like there was a chance he wouldn't die from Life Orb. So Pursuit wasn't safe. It was a 50-50 again. And like, it was just pure intuition, and I decided to Pursuit. And I killed the Breloom, so now Jellicent is actually looking good. Although things have to go well against Ferrothorn, because War doesn't have to miss and I don't have to be unlucky. So here I just weaken the Excadrill, meaning it doesn't have a chance to axe the Jellicent. I finish it with Alakazam. You might wonder why I Focus Blasted. I just thought it was a nice middle ground in case he would try to get cute and switching Ferrothorn and then kill the Alakazam, but it wasn't really worth it at the end, because even a 19% Excadrill wouldn't do cheat again, Jason. So I could have played safe. Anyway, I missed Focus Blaster, not a big deal once again. I only have Scald and Will-O-Wisp to hit the Ferrothorn, so like, it doesn't matter if he's at 30 or 100, I just need to burn it. And here, I decided to Taunt first and not Will-O-Wisp, because I was afraid he would Leech Seed, and if he Leech Seed, I lose the game. So, good move on his part, he probably right away, putting more odds on his side. Like, if I rolled instead of taunting, and then he wouldn't have done good damages, and it was over bad. I just tried to play it safe because I knew with the defensive EVs I had, I could take Pro Rip and then Pro Rip when he's burned. So here I recover, and it's actually a mistake. Like a mistake as in it was a poor judgment of my part. And the reason why I did it is not good. I just remember for some reason at that time I was a bit scared of Kelly not being Scarf and being like Specs with HP Ghost, and he would double switch on the wall. He would switch on the wall, and being at 50, I would die from HP Dark. But that wasn't even a good reason to recover, because if he was Specs HP Dark, he would win even if I recovered. Even if I recovered, so that wasn't a good reason. Anyway, Pro Rip still doesn't do enough. Like I can Will-O-Wisp it now. Pro Rip won't kill, and then I can win. So Will-O-Wisp is burned. Pro Rip won't kill, except he gets a critical hit, and that makes me lose the game. So I just come back on the turn 18, and why the recovery was an even bigger mistake, because if I didn't recover and Will-O-Wisp died away, I would have lost anyway. Like, even if I Will-O-Wisp here and recovered on turn 19, Pro Rip would still kill, so I would have lost anyway. But the thing is, in the current situation, if he didn't get the critical hit, the Jayde would be at like 10 or 15%. And the taunt would run out. So I would need to win a 50-50 between Leech Seed on the recover or taunt on the Leech Seed. And if I just Will-O-Wisp right away, I wouldn't have, like, I would have lost anyway because he got the crit. But I wouldn't have to play that 50-50 because he would have burned on that turn, and I would have recovered. And if he didn't quit, I could have just taunted the turn after, and I had the Hand of Hearth. I wouldn't be at 15, like I would have been at like 40, I think. So I can taunt and then recover, and then I win the game. Anyway, that was a pretty cool game. I think we both made good plays. I was pretty glad. I played kind of perfectly, I think, between Alakazam and Weavile, and he did a really good double with Brolo to stay in the game, and then he played this out. But yeah, it was a nice game. Yeah, I'll just have to mention that if you guys have any questions about the game, the team, or just in general, you can send them in the YouTube comments or on my McMeghan profile, and I try to do my best to respond in a short time. Until next time, see you.